The Bush budget that he handed down yesterday is, in a word, disastrous on every front. He's slashing all domestic spending. In fact, I should be clearer. I'm going to tell you where he's cutting in a second. And everywhere that he hasn't slashed and burned, he's freezing domestic spending on all the programs he doesn't kill. There's only basically 3 places where he's raising the budget. 1, defense spending. Of course! No matter how bad the situation is, always increase defense spending. Up 7-8%, depending on which article you read, for the defense budget. How much money can we spend on defense? That doesn't even include the Iraq War or the Afghanistan War. I'll get to that in a second. Number 2 place where he doesn't cut, but he raises the budget, abstinence-only programs. Come on, man. Have a little mercy. Mercy on how stupid you could be and how ineffectual and disastrous you could be. And the 3rd place is vouchers. They believe in these public voucher programs for education, where they go and they give you vouchers to actually get away from public education. It's another questionable idea. All right, so that goes to his priorities. Now let me tell you where he's cutting. I'm quoting the Washington Post here. The president also takes aim at programs that Congress has zealously preserved and is likely to continue protecting. Among the programs Bush would eliminate are food programs for poor children. Defense goes up, abstinence only goes up, but food programs for poor children? You're out of here! This is not lowering, this is eliminating. Okay? Research assistance to manufacturers, career and technical education grants. So the people who lost your jobs and you want to get training in something else, you're out of here! Okay? We got to increase defense spending and abstinence-only programs. Weatherization assistance, that's for home heating when it's a cold winter, sad day for you. Community development grants, graduate medical education at children's hospitals, and a public housing revitalization program that the House just overwhelmingly reauthorized. When they handed the budgets to Democrats and to Republicans, they both said, are you kidding me? Even the Republicans were like, oh, come on. Okay, let's just put that aside. That's not going to happen. Okay, and this guy's a lame duck, and this thing is wildly unrealistic. Look, the Associated Press, Washington Post, the press who are so religious about not judging anything, have both said the budget is completely unrealistic. And then he says, oh, by the way, I'm going to hand you a $410 billion deficit next year. But I'm not even counting the Iraq War and Afghanistan. No, to be fair, next year he counts it for $70 billion. It's likely to be over $200 billion. So that makes the deficit $540 billion right there by itself. And then past 2009, he doesn't count the Iraq and Afghanistan war at all. No, it doesn't exist. $0. And when they asked him, I love these guys. They asked him, they said, well, whatever, you think the war's going to magically stop in 2009? They're like, well, that's for the next presidents to decide. So it's their problem, not ours. I mean, there you have it. There's the Bush administration in a nutshell. And then you break down the numbers, and it's a joke on top of a joke. They say by 2012, they're going to balance the budget. Until you break it down and you see that they froze spending in a way that is not feasible in any way, shape, or form. They don't count the Iraq War and Afghanistan wars. They say that they're going to cut spending for veterans' medical programs. And that's, again, where all the reporters drew the line and said, there's no way in hell that's going to pass through Congress. You're going to cut spending after you just sent them to get maimed and wounded and killed in Iraq. You're going to cut the spending on veterans' medical programs? Oh, come on, man. On which planet? Of course that's not going to happen. And the rest of his slash and burn tactics, none of them are going to work. And then when you do if you just include the Iraq war costs, you're at over $500 billion from what he projected. Then if you include, and then he says, oh yeah, by the way, part of the tax program that he knows is going to get overturned, he says, no, that's not going to get overturned. That's another $400 billion. And then his tax cuts, it goes on and on. It's an insane budget. And the reporters did it justice. They said it is a microcosm of the Bush administration. Totally unrealistic. Deficits as far as the eye can see. Spending on wars and defense and drastically cutting all domestic programs. I mean, this guy's a disaster all the way to the end.